Hi, this is Scott Mac. You have reached me on my YouTube channel. I'm here today to talk about on me becoming an author. This is actually my first time doing my YouTube channel, and I'm hoping that it becomes a success. So I have some questions that people has been asking me about me writing my book and me becoming an author. And one of the questions was, what was the first book that made me cry? And that was The Journey with Farrah Fawcett. Her journey on trying to beat cancer. The author that did that was her best friend, Elena Stewart, Rod Stewart's ex-wife. And that book pretty much had me in tears. When I decided to write a book, I wanted to read a lot on other authors and their techniques. So when I decided to do it, I went and got a Forbidden Fruit, book called Forbidden Fruit, and the book My Journey with Farrah Fawcett by Elena Stewart. And when I read that book by Elena Stewart, I was in tears. Farrah Fawcett went through a lot to try to stay alive, to be here, you know, to be with her family. And so I read that to the end. And when I read it to the end, that book gave me some ideas, gave me some good ideas, which was I wanted to put pictures in my book just like Elena Stewart did. And when I did wrote my book, Resilience of a Black Woman, when I wrote the book, I actually put pictures in that book. And but that will be taught later on in my other videos about resilience of a Black woman and the issues that I had by just putting pictures in there. And then my second one was, does writing energize or exhaust you? I think it does both. It energizes you, well, it energizes me when I'm on the road, when I have a lot to say, especially with the book that I just wrote, which is 26 Degrees. That right now is in the publishing. That will be taught later on during my other videos as well on my YouTube channel. But right now, this channel is getting to know me as an author. But 26 Degrees, it really had me interested because I love action movies. I like to write about combat and action moves and stuff like that. But then it exhausts me when I can't name the action moves as far as kick up, pick up, kick up, kick up, kick up. And so I had to talk to my son, what is this move? What is it called? So I get exhausted when I start doing the action scenes, writing about the action in my book. But I love action, so that's the genre that I picked. It's action. So the third one was, does a big ego help or hurt writing? I think it's both. Some egos will likely get you noticed, and some would actually hinder you. That's what I think. When you have a big ego, you're out there, but you're selling yourself. That's your big ego. You're selling yourself. And not only that, you know, nobody can tell you nothing because your big ego is just clouding your judgments as far as you trying to get your name out there. And that's what I want. But by this pandemic going on, I decided to do a YouTube channel, trying to get my name out there. So there are different ways that you can go about trying to get your name out there. And I chose YouTube channel. What is your writing kryptonite? Again, my genre. My genre, action thriller, use physical action and create suspense within the film, which is in my book. 26 Degrees, back to 26 Degrees, which would be mentioned later on. 26 Degrees is my book that it took me about 6 months to actually write, because I was up all day, up all night, practically writing. During the pandemic, they had nothing else to do, so I wrote. And let's see, did you ever consider writing under a pen name? No, I didn't. when I wrote Resilience of a Black Woman, the things that I put in my biography, the publishing company decided to come to me and say, hey, you know, you need to go by a pen name. We can't go by your full name. So basically, Scott B. Milk is my name, but I broke it down by my maiden name, my maiden name, my first name initial, my middle name initial, and my married last name. So it's Scott B. Milk. So basically, it is my name. I just broke it down. And the first thing was like, oh, I like this. I like it too. I like the fact that I just broke it down and it has an initial in it. And instead of me putting my first name first, I put my last name first, Scott B.L. Mack. Good thinking. So that's what I went up with as far as my pen name. I decided to do that for my first book, my biography. So then I decided to stick with it. Now there's some other areas that I want to try as far as me writing a book, and that's romantic, because I like to watch Hallmark. I'm a Hallmark fanatic, but I'm an action fanatic too. So I might just dab in romance later on down the line, but right now I'm totally into action, and that's what I want to do, is the action books, thrillers and suspense. Okay, the next question was, do you want each book to stand out on its own, or are you trying to build a body of work with connections between each book? I think that 26 Degrees has potential on becoming a series. I honestly think that. And when I wrote 26 Degrees, I just couldn't stop thinking about Chase and Casey and Miller. Just out there tearing through town, looking for Dimitri and Pascal Hernandez, you know, and I just couldn't stop. I wanted more. And I'm like, wow, you know, should I do another series on 26 Degrees? So what I did was I expanded 26 Degrees towards a clothing line. So you can also look below and, oh, by all means, please subscribe me. Please don't forget to subscribe me. Also look down below. You should see a link as far as my website as well on the items that I'll be selling under 26 Degrees. My second book that I have out. It'll be out like probably like February or March of next year. And the next question is, what is the best money you ever spent as a writer? That was the book cover of Resilience of a Black Woman. I think that was the best money I ever spent on that, which is the book cover. It wasn't really that much. And it was surprising. Me and my son have found it online, and it was 2 book covers that I wanted, but the one that I chose for the Resilience of the Black Woman, that really stood out, and that's the one that I went with. Check it out. You can go on Walmart. You can go to Target. You can go to Amazon, Books A Million, all these stores, and order it online. Barnes and Noble also has it. Let's see, how did publishing your first book change your process of writing? Taking my time on finding a publishing company. Because when I first came home, I did 4.5 years, and I worked as a civilian with the American government. And when I came home, people was like, oh, you should write a book. You've been through a lot. You've seen a lot. You traveled a lot. So I'm like, that makes sense. Should I? So I decided to do a book. And as I was writing the book, I saw all the things that I went through. And I'm like, you know what? I had help on naming the book. And that was my god sister department. She came out and said, hey, why not name it The Resilience of a Black Woman? So I'm like, take the off and call it Resilience of a Black Woman. And that's what I came up with, Resilience of a Black Woman, which is out now. You can Google it, Google me, you know, subscribe me. That was my first thing I would change on the process of writing, which is taking my time on trying to find a publishing company. I really want to try traditional publishing company, but that takes a lot. You have to find a literary agent, and my work gets in the way of doing all this because of my work schedule. So I thought that I would do self-publishing for now. So I hope you all will follow me through my journey on becoming an author, and later on in life try to do traditional. But that is what I'm trying to look towards too, is literary agent, traditional. Let's see, what am I doing right? What authors did you dislike at first but grew into? I don't think I ever did like any disliked any authors. I might have maybe their techniques, but never disliked them. And another question was, what did you do with your first advance? Wow, I didn't have a first advance because I didn't go traditional. I just went self-publishing. Resilience of a Black Woman actually stayed on my desktop for like 9.5 years until I decided that I wanted to go ahead and publish it. And really, I wasn't thinking about that. But then when I got sick the last part of last year and I had nothing else to do, I'm like, you know what? Let me try to get this book in order. I can really start doing something around here, around my house, as far as getting the book out would be one accomplishment. So that's what I did. I was really sick. So Resilience of a Black Woman was actually my first book, which is my biography, and I got that out. I started working on it like in December last year, and it finally came out in June 2020. What I mean by working on it is it was already written. It was just sitting on my desktop. It was already done. But I had to get an editor. The first editor that I got, it was like $1,500 to edit. And I thought, okay, well, you spend a lot of money on editing, you get the best editor. But no, that's not the case. Then I started Googling on YouTube and with other authors, Alexa Dunn and other authors, Riley. And there was like, you're going to go through more than just one editor. I'm like, no, not me. I get the best editor. I spend a lot of money. No, that's not the case. You could spend $2,000 and she or he was not the best editor. So I found out by Googling and YouTubing that you're actually going to go through more than one editor. And I did for Resilience of a Black Woman. The second editor that I had, she actually was like magnificent. She actually charged me $600, and she did an awesome job. Awesome. And when I went to the publishing company with that already being second edited, I still came across a lot of little errors as far as this and that, because it's a biography, and with a biography, because I'm not a celebrity, certain things I couldn't say, certain things I could say, so I had to take certain things out. But I went around it. When we finally got everything done and situated with Resilience of a Black Woman, they came back and said, well, you know what? You're good to go, but we can't go by your name. So it took me about a day to think about it. And I'm like, I can break it down. They was called, this and that, my granddaddy, Mac. So I'm like, okay, Mac, here's my last name. This is my last name. And I took my last name, Mac. So I took my first initial, middle initial, and I took another name, and I just created Scott VL Mac, female. And that was that. Let's see. The next one is not on here. I did this to try to make sure that I wouldn't forget what I wanted to say. When I decided to write, And it didn't take me that long to find a publishing company. Actually, I think I just rushed into it. And when I finally decided to go with Slavers, I went with Slavers. When I went with Slavers, when I decided to actually have it published 9 years later, I started to do more digging on these labors and finding a lot of issues. I'm like, oh my gosh, did I pick the wrong company? Well, I had already paid them anyway, so I'm like, you know what, let me just go ahead and go with the flow and go with them. And so I did. And I saw other celebrities, one particular celebrity, which was Beyonce's dad, with the Slavers. So I decided to pretty much say, you know what, I already paid them. I'm gonna go ahead and do this and get it done and over with. And believe me, now I had some disappointments, and I think that they catered to celebrities more than they catered to regular people. Because I went through a lot of issues on this and that and names and stuff like that. At first, it was like, well, how small is your town? Why my town? Does it matter how many? So it was actually because if you have a small town, they could pretty much narrow it down to who wrote the book. But thank God I'm not from a small town. Thank you. And so they're like, okay, well, fine. You need a different name. You need to go by a pen name. So that's when I went ahead and created that name. But back to Resilience of a Black Woman. I think that the issues that I went through in life with Resilience of a Black Woman would be able to help a lot of people. Not just people that goes through depression, but people that been in marriages that did not work. Single parents. Not only that, weight loss. Losing your mom and your dad. So I think that this would be a big pick me up as far as moving forward, being a strong-minded individual, not just a female, but a man as well. You have single dads just as well as single mothers. So I think this book would be a good match for different ages, different ethics,